FedEx paid nothing in federal taxes in fiscal year 2018, and the New York Times called the company out on it. But the company didn't like that, which means this is another episode of When Rich Men Cry.
I care. That's it.
As we all know, the Trump administration pushed for a decrease in the corporate tax rate, and the Trump era tax cuts were passed by Congress. And so companies like Amazon got away with paying nothing in taxes. But now it turns out FedEx got to reap some of those big savings from Trump's $1.5 trillion tax cut, bringing its effective tax rate from 34% in fiscal year 2017 to less than 0 in fiscal year 2018, meaning that overall the government technically owed it money.
Jesus Christ.
It's insane. So this is how damaging these tax cuts for the rich have been. And the argument that the tax cuts created jobs or stimulated the economy, unfounded. Let me give you the details. A New York Times data analysis shows no statistically meaningful relationship between the size of the tax cut that companies and industries received and the investments they made. If anything, the companies that received the biggest tax cuts increased their capital investment by less on average than companies that got smaller cuts.
Oh, that's devastating. I want to give you a quote from FedEx's CEO. This was a FedEx official statement at the time first. FedEx invested billions in capital items eligible for accelerated depreciation, made large contributions to our employees' pension plans. These factors have temporarily lowered our federal income tax, which was law's intention to help grow GDP, create jobs, and increase wages. In other words, blah, 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 blah. We're paying no taxes, we're paying no taxes. So that's what they're saying today. And back in the day, the FedEx CEO, Frederick Smith, in 2017 on the Larry Kudlow show, who now of course works for the Trump administration, said that the tax cuts were gonna lead to, quote, a renaissance of capital investment. Okay, and Anna read you the quote. It turns out there was no renaissance. The ones that got the biggest tax cuts did the least investment, okay? They created the least amount of jobs.
Yep.
The ones that got the least tax cuts created more jobs. It was always a lie. It was always a lie. No, the whole point was for the richest people in the country and the biggest corporations to pay less than 0 in taxes.
And I want to read more from Frederick Smith, the FedEx chairman and CEO. The New York Times published a distorted and factually incorrect story. Pertinent to this outrageous distortion of the truth is the fact that unlike FedEx, the New York Times paid 0 federal income tax in 2017 on earnings of $111 million and only $30 million in 2018, 18% of their pre-tax book income. Wait, so they paid taxes? Is that what you're saying? You paid nothing in tax. FedEx paid nothing in taxes in 2018. Nothing.
And
0.
besides which, telling us that another corporation also didn't pay a lot of taxes is not very persuasive.
Right. I mean, we're not distracted by that squirrel, right?
Yeah.
So if it were the case that the New York Times made a ton of profit and didn't pay anything in federal taxes, they should pay their taxes.
Yeah,
like I'm not like sticking up for the New York Times.
No, like these idiots think like, oh yeah, how about your liberal New York Times? Then we don't think they're liberal, and they're a company, and they should pay their damn taxes, right? So look, there are legitimate deductions you can take, and there's reasons for those deductions. But remember, before Trump's tax cuts, FedEx paid taxes, right? After Trump's tax cuts, no taxes.
Exactly. So let's talk about a little bit of the reaction coming from candidates like Bernie Sanders. He tweeted, "We're told we can't afford to invest in housing, healthcare, and education our people need. Meanwhile, giant corporations are paying 0 in federal income taxes. When we stand up to the corporate elite, we can make real change for our country." Boom.
Change is coming, guys. Change is coming. So the internet is we're I think at a tipping point where we're about to overwhelm television and old media. So old media is still doing the same old games, right? Whereas when now you put it on the internet that FedEx paid no taxes even though they made a giant amount of money, people get pissed. We understand numbers, we understand what 0 means, right? So you got robbed. And most people know it. Trump's tax plan They don't bother polling it anymore because the Republicans aren't running on it anymore. I think it bottomed out at 17%. So people know they got totally robbed. $2 trillion went to the richest people in the country and to multinational corporations. Guess why? Corruption. They bought off the entire Republican Party, some portion of the Democratic Party, and they bought off Donald Trump. So that's the swamp. And so when Bernie Sanders says, hell no, okay, when I'm in charge, you're gonna pay taxes just like everybody else, people are gonna love that message.
Yeah, and by the way, I do want to be fair because Elizabeth Warren had a similar tweet. She said, you're probably paying more in federal income taxes than a bunch of big American corporations that make billions of dollars. It's obscene. These companies love to wave the American flag, but they won't pitch in a dime to support the investments we make.
Well, what does that mean, American company? They're not American. They're not humans. They can't feel patriotism. So I'm not criticizing Warren, she's 100% right. For all the other people that come out, I don't know what you're talking about. Patriotic companies like FedEx will, do the right thing. Honestly, that's just an incredibly stupid thing to say. The only thing that a company must do by law is maximize profit. There is no second priority of, oh, by the way, be moral. Oh, by the way, be patriotic. Where is that in the bylaws? Where is that in the laws? No, anyone who says that doesn't understand anything about corporations and doesn't understand our system of government, our economic system. Oh, trust me, they'll do the right thing. No. Okay, either you're the dumbest guy alive, or more likely you've taken bribes from them. That's why you put that mythology. No, here's what they did. $0 in taxes. They took it all and did they create jobs? No, they didn't. It was always a lie. Thanks for watching The Young Turks. Really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.